Hello everyone and welcome back guys to more GT Sport, where today we're here back for our very first race at Laguna, Seca. Obviously this track was announced about a week and a half ago. It obviously came to GT Sport and obviously it was going to be not a very long time before we saw it in the first round of daily races. Now for the first week it was daily race C, obviously the longest races on the calendar in the Group 3 cars, as I think pretty much everyone was expecting. You know, if you're going to bring a new track to GT Sport, pretty much always you're going to test it out with the Group 3 cars to begin with. And yeah, today we're going to be taking on my first race with this track in the Porsche 911 RSR. Now, there were a fairly good spread of cars actually for this lobby. You can see a Beetle on pole, a couple of us in the 911s, an Alpha 4C, an AMG GT3, a V12 Vantage, and then obviously a few more things down towards the rear of the field. And yeah, I had actually, in all honesty, done a couple of practice races in the Renault RSO 1. Hadn't gone very well though. This is the first race I actually fully survived. The other two, yeah, the Renault was a bit loose for personal preference at the end of the day. But we are getting ready, the rolling start for this one. There you can see the Beetle on pole just in front of us. We'll see if we can try and match him for pace over the opening couple of laps here. But yeah, it is lights out and away we go then for the start of this race at Laguna Seca. 14 laps ahead of us. It's going to be there for about a 22-23 minute race there or thereabouts in this one today. And hopefully, yeah, we can just try and make it to the end and see where we end up. Obviously, I'd love to try and take home the race victory. We have unfortunately been bumped down to B license now, but to be honest, I think that's probably going to suit me a bit more considering just how rusty I am on GT Sport in recent weeks. But yeah, I'm sort of planning as well with GT Sport. You know, ideally I want to try and get, 1-2 videos out a week from this game. You know, a couple of the daily race Bs or As depending on what the combos is. We get very, very loose through turn 4 and turn 5 there. But yeah, I would like to try and get into a bit more again. Maybe, sort of a few daily race As or Bs like I said, and then 1 or 2 daily race Cs depending on obviously the combo and everything like that. Having a look at this week's combos, it does look quite good fun. I do definitely fancy doing a Group 2 race around Fuji, and I think it's Group 4 at Sao Paulo is the other one that I can remember off the top of my head, which, if I'm not mistaken, GT Sport runs at least twice a month for some reason, so yeah, we'll gloss over that as well. But supposedly it creates good racing, so maybe I'll have to see what all the hype is about in terms of that. But coming out the final corner though, we have survived the opening lap, and you can already see a little bit of a gap opening up to the Beetle in front, but an absolutely huge gap opening up behind us. It seems that there was quite a lot of battling going on already, pretty much a 4-second margin over the drivers behind. I think we got a Dutchman in at P3 there, had a Spaniard and a South African, and I mean there was a Brit starting in P3 and he's completely fallen off the face of the top 8 there, so clearly it's gone very, very wrong for him in the 911 RSR. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to try and carry the British flag in this race. But yeah, we'll wait and see though. But the gap to the leader is opening up ever so slightly at the moment. It was about 1 second at the end of the opening lap, just over, and now it's up to about 1.4. And this was something I quickly noticed in this race around this circuit. You know, the Beetle and the Porsche, although I know a lot of people give them a bit of stick, they're basically the same car when you think about it. They are very, very different around this circuit, and you'll see as we come into the corkscrew, this was one place where every single lap this guy was gaining a huge amount of time on me, and I don't really know how, in all honesty. It might just be the Beetle is a lot better through the corkscrew there. It might just be that I'm terrible through the corkscrew as well. It might be a bit of both, for all I know. But yeah, unfortunately, we just seem to be losing so much time through that corkscrew every single lap. It was a good couple of tenths of a second to him, unless he made sort of a big mistake, which seemed quite unlikely in the early stages of this race. But you can see the end of lap 2 though, the gap behind us opened up to pretty much 7 seconds now. I'm not really too sure how this has all happened, but yeah, clearly, I mean, now the Dutchman's fallen off the top 8 as well, so clearly it's about a race of attrition behind the top 2, so hopefully we can just try and stay away from all of those guys and everything like that. And you can see over the next couple of laps as we run a bit deep through the final corner, the tyres starting to get a little bit more wear on them, everything like that, but the gap to the leader, it opened up to about pretty much 2 seconds on the nose as we head out onto lap 6 of the race here. But, I was slowly getting into a bit of a better rhythm, sort of remembering some of the game mechanics of GT Sport, all the braking before you turn, everything like that, and slowly but surely trying to get back into it and get some extra pace in the car. I lacked a bit of consistency in this race, as you can already tell. You know, opening lap of 128 and then a 23.8, a 24.6 was a bit of a poor lap. And then you can see a 23.5 and a 23.6. So we were slowly but surely finding some momentum. But yeah, definitely lacked some consistency around here. You know, new track, I don't think I've ever driven the Porsche before as well on GT Sport, which probably made it even more interesting. You know, just trying to work out a new car, everything like that. The Porsche is quite good around here. From what I gather, it is quite good generally. It lacks some one-lap pace, but it's generally a bit better on race pace than a lot of the other cars, so that's sort of what I was going with. You know, the RS01 was definitely, for me at least, the car you needed to qualify in. But the Porsche, yeah, had some good race pace under it as well, which was obviously really, really important as we head down in towards the final couple of corners, though, of lap 6. And we had taken a good few tenths out of the leader on this lap, so it was just a case of trying to be consistently quick around this circuit as we get a really nice run through the final corner there. And yeah, we brought down, what, about 8 tenths out of him on this lap there, and it is actually going to be the fastest lap of the race, a 123.1. So like I said, still lacking a bit of consistency at the moment, but I mean, if we can set a couple of more laps like that, we could definitely be all over the back of this guy. Obviously now we just need to try and stick within about that 1.5 second margin in the slipstream zone around this circuit here as we head through the next couple of corners here. And you can see trying to get the power down nice and tight. You know, you've really got to ride the curbs around this circuit, opening up as best as possible there. And you can see for the first time, I'm pretty certain in this whole race, dipping under that 1 second margin to the Beetle up in front here. But as we head through the next couple of corners though, we're just, this is what I meant about lacking that consistency. It was one of those horrible races where every time we seem to just get that bit closer, we just make those small mistakes, run a little bit wide, not quite clip an apex, clip the curbs. You know, there are a couple of horrible sausage curbs around this track as well, which are, in my opinion, quite good. You know, you don't really want to be able to ride all the curbs, everything like that. But, you know, it's a little bit of a pain as well, as you can see, as we head through the corkscrew there, through the next couple of corners. We're going to absolutely wallop the inside sausage curb there, and that's going to throw away all the time we've gained over the last couple of laps there. Clip the next sausage curb as well, and you can see we went from about 8 tenths back to, again, dropping about a second in the space of a couple of corners there. And yeah, just really frustrating, those little mistakes around this track. But, you know, that'll come with more experience, everything like that as well on GT Sport. But yeah, at least we got the fastest lap at the moment. I guess we can try and take that as a little bit of a positive thing in this race here as we head on now to lap 8. But yeah, having a look though with Laguna Seca, definitely it's a bit of a weird track for me. I've never particularly been a fan of it anyway. I've always felt Laguna Seca was a bit overrated personally. I know the corkscrew is, you know, the greatest corner in the world and everything like that, but yeah, personally, I've never been, a particularly big fan of this track, and I don't really know why, in all honesty, because it should probably, I don't know, it feels like a track that I should like, and I don't know whether that's just how popular it is, makes me feel like I should like it. But yeah, I've never particularly enjoyed this circuit. I've always found it a little bit, for me, like it lacks a bit of flow, and it's just a bit odd because there aren't really that many slow speed corners around here. You know, got a couple at the end of the start of the lap, but most of it is sort of fairly middle speed for the most part as well. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but personally though, I think GT Sport have done a good version of this track. You know, I definitely quite like it on here, but yeah, relative, I think iRacing is still probably my favourite version of it, but GT Sport comes through as a very close second, and then combos like Forza I just don't find as enjoyable, I'll be honest, at the end of the day. So, I mean, it's great that we're still getting more free content on GT Sport. This is the thing that I love to see. You know, Forza, we had no tracks come to that game on Forza Motorsport 7, and I will be making a video soon, actually, about Forza Motorsport 8. Well, I think, it's big or bust for Forza in that sense as well. That'll be a video coming in the near future. If you want to see that, do get yourself subscribed as well. But yeah, GT Sport though, it's nice to see we're still getting these free content updates. I do definitely want to have a go at the Lewis Hamilton DLC as well. I'll be trying to buy that in the new year, and may do a stream on that over on Twitch at some point or something like that. We'll wait and see about that. But you can see at the moment though, as we head on to lap 12, once again that gap has started to come down just a little bit. Once again, though, I'm not too sure. Perhaps the leader's just trying to bring it home there as he runs a bit wide as we head up the hill. But yeah, you can see it drop back down to about 1.2 seconds, and this was sort of the problem we found all race long. It would dip anywhere from about 1 second to about 2. It never was really more than that. We were always applying the pressure, but I think we had a little bit extra pace for the most part, but we definitely lacked the consistency, and obviously that is so important in the daily race C here on GT Sport. That's why I think, you know, a lot of people do really only do Daily Race C exclusively, and it's probably why I do a lot more of Daily Race B, just because it can be a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more fun at the end of the day in personal experience there. But a couple of laps to go though, the gap, yeah, still at about 1.5 seconds. Consistency though, it's been alright. You can see after that 23-1, a couple of 24s, then back down pretty much into the 23s, and then a couple of small mistakes as well over the last couple of laps. We seem to get 2 or 3 good laps, and then we'd have a couple where we just, yeah, really did fall off the pace as well. Then as we head out onto the final lap of this race, you can see the gap had come back down to pretty much a second here, but I think it's going to be too little too late at the end of the day. Through the final couple of corners of this racer, and yeah, unless he makes a big mistake through the final couple of turns there, I don't think there's going to be much we can able to do. We can try and get as close as possible, but as we understeer massively through the final corner, it is going to be the Beetle. Pole position. He didn't get the fastest lap though, but he does take home the race victory, and we applied the pressure all race long, and we have survived a race at Laguna Seca there, which I guess I'll take at the end of the day. A huge margin to the guys behind there, but nice to see 4 different cars from 4 different nationalities there inside the top 4 at the end of the day. But it is the Beetle that takes home the win ahead of myself there. The Spaniard in the AMG GT3 in 3rd, the South African in the Aston Martin in 4th there. I had a Croatian in the BM there, a Corvette in 6th, and then an RS01 in 8th there, and M6 in 9th, so definitely some variety still as well, with the Alpha 4C down in P13, and then I'm pretty certain the Brit did not make it through to the end of that race there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Nonetheless though, do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here and you do want to see more GT Sport on the channel. Like I said, hopefully we'll have a bit of a dabble in the Group 2 cars even, I should say, at Fuji next time out. Quite looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video, and yeah, hopefully I will see you guys next time.